Question number 8 of practice set 1. Test your ability to work with matrices, in particular matrix multiplication, and then to use your ideas on how to multiply matrices together to solve a simple linear equation. First of all, I want to review your matrix multiplication. It's a row by column technique that I'm going to illustrate here. You keep multiplying a row and a column elements and then add the result, and I'll illustrate that in a moment. Keep in mind you can only multiply matrices if these middle numbers are the same. So whenever you look at a matrix, you can always name the size of it. This was a 3 by 2 matrix because it has 3 rows and it has 2 columns. So a 3 by 2 matrix is what the first one illustrates. The second one is 2 rows and 2 columns. Just to reemphasize what I just got done visiting about, you can only multiply matrices together if these inside numbers are the same. The outside numbers that I've illustrated here tell you the size of your new matrix. The new matrix that you create by doing your multiplication is going to be a 3 by 2 matrix. So just a quick background on your matrix multiplication, how we're going to do it, the technique, when it can be done, and how we can perform our matrix multiplication. I'm going to try to illustrate just a little bit in a general sense of how we multiply our row by column technique. When we say take a row by a column, we take this row, which is row 1, I'm going to take it times column 1. So this is a row 1, column 1 that I'm going to be multiplying. So we take element to element. I'm going to multiply A times W, and then we're going to add that result to B times Y. So I took the row 1 times column 1, and I put it in row 1, column 1's location of the new matrix. The next time I take row 1, but this time I'm going to take it times column 2. Now I take row 1, column 2, and multiply them together. That answer is going to go in the row 1, column 2 portion of my answer matrix. So we multiply element by element. I take A times X, which is AX, and I add to it B times Z, which is BZ. Now I'm illustrating just a general strategy here using variables to represent multiplication, but I'll do one more here. Now I'm going to move to row 2. Since I've exhausted all of row 1 times columns 1 and 2, I'm going to take row 2 and I'm going to multiply it times column 1. And again, this is C times W plus, now we got to take D times Y, which is dy. I'm going to clear out some of this clutter because I'm having a hard time seeing. That was row 2 times column 1. Now I'm going to take row 2 times column 2. Row 2, column 2. That answer goes in the row 2, column 2 of my answer matrix. So I got to take C times X, and I got to add it to D times Z. And you keep following this procedure, the strategy, until you're done. You take row 3 times column 1, put the result here. Row 3, column 1. You take row 3 times column 2, put its result here. The new answer matrix will be the size of a 3 by 2 matrix as indicated by the outside. Okay, so how does that apply in the problem that we're dealing with? We have to find the missing value of X. A missing value of X is in the second row. Because it's in the second row, the things that we're going to need to find will be utilized by multiplying row 2 times our column 1 or column 2. One of these is going to give us an equation that we can solve and hopefully find the value of X. So if I take row 2 times column 1, that answer should be sitting in row 2, column 1, which is 6. So when I take X times 0 and add it to 3 times 2, the value should be 6. And then what we're seeing is we get a true statement. Yes, this row 2 times column 1 does give us a 6. But that doesn't give us anything to utilize as far as finding the value of X. So I'm going to move on to my next part, which will be to try to take row 2 times column 2. Now row 2, column 2, that answer has to be located in row 2, column 2's section of the answer matrix. So if I take row 2 times column 2, it's X times 4, which is 4X. Then I add to it 3 times 1, those elements, which is 3 times 1, which is 3. And that's got to equal the answer of 9. This answer of row 2, column 2 has to equal 9. Well, that gives me 4X plus 3 equals 9. Solving this linear equation, what we want to do is we want to first subtract our 3. That will give us 4X equals 6. We want to get rid of multiplying by 4. The inverse of multiplying by 4 would be to divide by 4. So we divide both sides of the equation by 4. And we have X is equal to 6 fourths, which can reduce to 3 halves. If we go back up to our answer choice, hopefully we'll find one that says 3/2, and it's letter B. So a review of matrix multiplication, and then after you get done with your matrix multiplication, solving the equation, the linear equation that's remaining.